Hello ladies and gentlemen, I hope I'm going live about now. Let me just briefly fix up the screen so it's my usual somewhat organized YouTube layout. Obviously we are doing a little bit of a different kind of live stream today. I've never reacted to an OpenAI thing, but they kind of build up a lot of expectations for this spring reveal. They said it's gonna feel magical. Now it's important they specifically call it out as still being ChatGPT-4 based, so don't expect ChatGPT-5 announcements, maybe some improvements to ChatGPT 4.5. It's also apparently not a search engine basically them entering the search engine business. I don't think they have much reason to do so. They are wasting currently a lot of resources on just the compute for AI, building out a server infrastructure specifically for search, while also like cooperating with Microsoft, whereas Bing, in my opinion, is very, very antithetical to their mission, which is to achieve artificial general intelligence. I have no idea how many people will be interested in tuning in today, because I have no idea how high the excitement for such an event is from the broader Apple community. From what I understand, Apple users are not like negatively positioned towards AI, but they are more apprehensive than like Google fans or even Microsoft fans, because I feel like there is a stronger emphasis on just a curated experience, like a human created experience from Apple user in comparison to what we see from the likes of Google, from the likes of Microsoft. Obviously OpenAI is just an AI company, and so I have no idea how important this stream is going to be or how many people will join. I just, as always, am looking forward to meeting anyone who is new. White Hawk Kennel saying hey in the chat and leaving a heart as far as I can see. Thank you so much for joining. I don't think I've ever seen your name in the chat. Guys, and we have more and more people joining. Let me know, are you actually excited here about AI stuff? Are you interested in what this means? Like, I have labeled this stream as like, will it kill or will it make like Siri with iOS 18, basically dead on arrival? If this is, well, I should preemphasize this with the following. It's not ChatGPT 5 we're getting today. It's not a search engine we're getting today. The biggest rumor that we have gotten that seems somewhat believable and hasn't been denied specifically by Sam Altman is the idea that we would be getting a fully featured voice assistant in that stream. So this is why I didn't just inject Apple into the title just to make it an Apple stream. This might actually be very relevant. Plus, when we actually go to Apple's website, you can actually see that, and we've covered this recently, is that Apple is supposedly, according to Bloomberg, just about to finalize their agreement with OpenAI to bring ChatGPT functionality to iOS 18. Now, we don't know. Will Apple only do that once ChatGPT 5 is out there? Will they base their like Siri 2.0 on the voice assistant that OpenAI is about to introduce? I have a lot of doubts in regards to just how much Apple wants to outsource AI, but we will see. And White Hawk Kennel, you're saying you're new from India. Well, yeah, we are kind of like an India-driven channel, which is absolutely amazing. I have personally no connection to India, but at some point the algorithm decided to recommend me to people in India, Bangladesh, Pakistan, and that region of the world, and somehow I ended up with 100,000 subscribers, most of which come from India. iCaveDave, hello my brother. I've seen your tweets about YouTube Studio not working. Let's see if that gets fixed at least. Are you actually interested? Yeah, iCaveDave. If you are iCaveDave, I know that you are new from the UK. Welcome. Let me know, what do you actually think of AI? Are you at least mildly interested in like this kind of stuff, or do you believe that there's like a lot of like gaslighting about the actual capability? Will we actually achieve like artificial general intelligence? like how far will we go basically as a species with OpenAI, and how much of that with AI, and how much of that will be done by OpenAI, by our Lord and Savior Sam Altman. Yeah. Oh, by the way, guys, before I start, cheers, because I'm thirsty as hell. I'm always streaming right after working out, so forgive me. By the way, if somebody notices something that they cannot notice, I disabled ads for this video. For one, I'm not sure about the music here and stuff like that, but I would like to keep live streams like this that obviously have like continuous piece of content uninterrupted. Now I usually deactivate all ads that play right in the middle of a live stream, but during my live streams you usually only get ads right at the beginning of a stream. However, with this video you are not getting ads while I'm live. I will be turning on ads once the video has been processed, because obviously that's kind of how one makes money here, unless any of you guys wants to leave a super chat, a super sticker, or wants to subscribe to my Patreon. You guys know the drill. You guys know how to support the channel directly. iCaveDave, you're saying there will be progress. Not sure we get to general. Yeah, I kind of agree. The question with general AI is also like it's a very nebulous term. I would say in some ways, given that like AI can access everything obviously on the internet, AI will be smarter in most tasks than human. That to me does not really make it Gen AI. I don't know why we have come to this term specifically, because AI already can pass like doctors' examinations and like the bar for lawyers, so I don't always understand why like Sam Altman is specifically like always Gen AI. I would just say like, oh, we have a killer product and we keep on improving it, right? iPhone was great with iPhone 4, but it doesn't mean that we didn't deserve iPhone 4S, 5S, and every iPhone that ever followed, right? Whitehawk Kennel, you're a startup founder in India, a pet care startup. Well, that's absolutely lovely. I don't have pets right now because obviously due to me studying medicine and now starting to work, I don't really have the time. I had a little cat named Bella, and she's now a very happy big cat at my mom's place. So if you follow me on Twitter, I do sometimes post pictures of my big redhead girl in that regard. And we have a lot more people joining right now. Again, I have no idea what the general excitement will be in my community for an AI event. So I appreciate everyone who comes in. As always, I encourage you guys to comment, because I do want to know your opinions. I do want to know where you're from, how long you have been part of the community, or whether like Whitehawk Kennel, you're brand new, or iCaveDave, like we have a little bit of history, but not quite history right on the channel. So yeah, I appreciate all kinds of input. I did not want to start like an hour before the event. I have no idea how long it's going to be. I have no idea how relevant it's going to be. So I just want to cover it. If we still have time afterwards, I would like to continue some of my more Apple typical topics, like all the drama we currently have about Apple's M4 chip. But obviously, if this is a longer event, if this is a very impactful event and I have a lot to say afterwards, then I would probably be commenting a lot more like Apple stuff tomorrow, when we are probably getting reviews for the new iPads, or on Wednesday. It depends a little. I don't quite know what my schedule is going to be tomorrow. Yeah, but that's kind of my preamble here. I should add that my expertise with AI is obviously far lower than my expertise with Apple. I should say that I do use OpenAI stuff, like ChatGPT derived stuff. I do use it in Bing sometimes. I actually programmed basically the double tap gesture on the back of my iPhone to bring up Bing and their AI assistant. So that is actually kind of like where I get my consumption of AI. Sometimes it's very useful, sometimes I use it for more silly stuff. I've tried chatting with certain chat bots, both regular and somewhat adult, just for shits and giggles. I can tell you they don't do much for me in either regard. So yeah, AI is like this very, very versatile issue, which to me, I have said time and time again, I prefer features that are baked into applications, operating systems, etc. Stuff that just works by itself is obviously fine and good, and I don't have anything against it. It's just not necessarily what I am looking forward to. Like, I want AI that can actually compose to me regular messages, summarize my emails. Maybe I don't get too much usage out of it. It also probably wouldn't be able to work with any of the more scientific stuff that I sometimes have to work with in terms of my email and work stuff. Yeah, so it's all up and downs. It's really hard to say. It's not like I want to say that, oh, Apple's approach will be the only right one, but it might be the only one that will be truly relevant for me. Oh, and your White House channel, you're saying you have an AI chatbot built for pet care. Well, if you share it in the comments, I don't know how links work in comments. Otherwise, again, my Twitter link is in the description of this channel. Basically, add me to a tweet, and maybe we'll see about that afterwards. I'll just briefly check that my stream is working all fine. Yes, and we have a couple of newcomers, as I can see, watching, which is always very, very encouraging. By the way, you can hear the music. Can you guys let me know if the audio is like working all right for you? I'm streaming at like 1440p, 30 FPS, so the quality should be good enough for what that stream is. But I'm always worried about like audio levels. Am I way too loud in comparison to the video here? Am I way too quiet, which usually isn't the case, but I still worry about it. Just update it. So yeah, okay. White Oak Kennel, do I have LinkedIn? No, I have no need for LinkedIn. We in Germany basically don't use LinkedIn unless it's some kind of like weird business that really likes to be super techy and stuff like that. White Oak Kennel, I will find the great. You didn't tell me. You're saying a little loud. Am I a little loud because this is easily tunable on my microphone, or is the stream a little loud? I also don't know how loud they will speak in the stream, right? But thank you so much. The greatest, my man here, coming forward, informing me about the tech here. I think I'll just make myself a little less loud. I am a little loud. The great, can you tell me if this changes anything, what I've just done? Like, I've tuned my microphone a little bit. I want to, by the way, get a nicer microphone than the Blue Yeti, but and I found some decent stuff even at like around 250, 300, but I do like just those physical knobs here. It just encourages me to keep it and save a little bit of money. 37 seconds to go. Great, saying I'm good now. Thank you so much. Then I won't change like my speaking volume. I'll just hope that my microphone does well. The great, please keep me updated during the stream. Obviously, as they start talking, maybe the ballads will have to be tuned a little. Spring update, yeah. I don't think I need subtitles here. Mira Murati. I have no idea who these people are. I don't watch them.
It's great to have you here today. Today I'm going to talk about 3 things. That's it. We will start with why it's so important to us to have a product that we can make freely available and broadly available to everyone. And we're always trying to find out ways to reduce friction so everyone can use ChatGPT wherever they are. So today, we'll be releasing the desktop version of ChatGPT and the refreshed UI that makes it simpler to use, much more natural as well. But the big news today is that we are launching our new flagship model, and we are calling it GPT-4o. The special thing about GPT-4o is that it brings GPT-4 level intelligence to everyone, including our free users. We'll be showing some live demos today to show the full extent of the capabilities of our new model, and we'll be rolling them out iteratively over the next few weeks. All right, so let's get started.
I wonder if it's a smaller
model. A very important
model.
part of our mission is to be able to make our advanced AI tools available to everyone for free.
Is it sexist if I mention that she's an attractive woman?
We think it's very, very important that people have an
I kind of
intuitive
expected
feel
Sam
for what
to
the
come.
technology can do. And so we really want to pair it with this broader understanding. And we're always finding ways to reduce that friction. And recently, we made ChatGPT available without the sign-up flow. And today, we're also bringing the desktop app to ChatGPT because we
it's a Mac app.
you to
Nice.
be able to use it wherever you are. As you can see, it's easy, it's simple, it integrates very, very easily in your workflow. Along with it, we've also refreshed the UI.
iCaveDave's. It kind
We
of
know
looks
that
a
these
little bit
models
like the
get
little
more and more
homes that Apple
complex.
builds.
But we want
Yeah,
the
I get the
experience, the
vibe.
interaction.
But it
to
also gives
actually
like
become
Google
more
I/O
natural,
vibes, where it's like more
easy,
comfy, more
and
warm.
for you not to focus on the UI
To
at all,
distract
but
that
just
they're
focus
actually
on the
like a corporate
collaboration with
entity that
ChatGPT.
works with like hard data.
And now the big news. Today, we are releasing our newest flagship model. This is GPT-4o.
I mean, guys, like let her show. Oh my God, these are worse than any
GPT-4o
Apple
provides
fanboys.
GPT-4 level intelligence, but it is much faster, and it improves on its capabilities across text, vision, and audio. For the past couple of years, we've been very focused on improving the intelligence of these models, and they've gotten pretty good. But this is the first time that we are really making a huge step forward when it comes to the ease of use. And this is incredibly important because we're looking at the future of interaction between ourselves and the machines. And we think that GPT-4o
I think ChatGPT-5,
really shifting
Dave,
that
at this point
paradigm
ain't coming.
into the future
We'll
of
get like through the
collaboration, where
alphabet
this
with
interaction becomes
ChatGPT-4.
much more natural and far, far easier. But, you know, making this happen is actually quite complex because when we interact with one another, there's a lot of stuff that we take for granted. You know, the ease of our dialogue when we interrupt one another, the background noises, the multiple voices in a conversation, or, you know, understanding the tone of voice.
So I see, yeah,
all of these
the
things are
voice
actually
stuff
quite complex
gets
for
improved,
these
I guess.
models. And until now, with voice mode, we had 3 models that come together to deliver this experience.
Okay.
We have transcription, intelligence, and then text-to-speech. All comes together in orchestration to deliver voice mode.
To be honest, this feels a little bit like
also
details that
brings a
the
lot of
general public
latency
doesn't
to the
need to know. You
experience,
can
and it
publish
really
all that
breaks
in a
that
white
immersion
paper.
in the collaboration with ChatGPT. But now, with GPT-4o, this all happens natively. GPT-4o reasons across voice, text, and vision. And with these incredible efficiencies, it also allows us to bring the GPT-4 class intelligence to our free users. This is something that we've been trying
Is
to
it
do
worse
for many,
than
many months.
GPT-4.5?
And we're very, very excited to finally bring GPT-4o to all of our users. Today, we have 100 million people, more than 100
they
million,
need me
in
to know how
fact.
clever
use
they are. It's
ChatGPT
like
to create.
it's a
work,
little bit show-offy, even though like they don't actually show off the features, right? They talk about them.
That are only available to our paid users, at least until now. With the efficiencies of 4o, we can bring these tools to
I wonder,
everyone.
like, bringing so much stuff to
today,
free users,
you
their
can use
data
GPTs
collection must be
in the GPT
insane
store.
to like warrant that, right?
So far, we've had more than 1 million users create amazing experiences with GPTs. These are custom chat GPTs for specific
most
use
of them are
cases that are
pretty
available
crap.
in the store. And now our builders have a much bigger audience.
Nick Matthews,
where,
as someone who was
university
paying for
professors can create
GPT-4
content for
already,
their
what are
students,
benefits to
or
be ability to
podcasters
cancel
can
my
create
subscription?
content for their
In a way,
listeners.
yes. I don't know if like this is
And
if
you can also use
this will
Vision.
still have like
So now
a
you can
paid better version.
upload,
I don't know.
Screenshots, photos, documents.
Their
containing
mics are
both
crap.
text
Like if
and
they, well, I
images.
cannot really
And
complain
you can start
because I'm a live
conversations
streamer.
with
But oh, is this
ChatGPT
not a
about
live
all
stream?
of this
Is this
content.
like is this
You can
just a
also
YouTube
use
live stream?
memory,
Is this
where
pre-recorded?
it makes ChatGPT far more useful and
Because
helpful,
that would be
because now
really
it has a
bad. That would
sense
be
of
really
continuity
cheap. If this
across
is how they
all your
present an edited
conversations.
video, like I'm a
And you
freaking
can
live
use
streamer,
Browse,
and
where you
even
can
I would think this is
search
cheap.
for real-time information in your conversation. And
I assume because there were people in the audience, it was fully live.
Or any information, and it will analyze.
But yeah, the mics themselves are not
this
good.
information, it will give you
like the
answers,
room,
and so
like they
on.
should have like cheated and used all those wood
Lastly,
panels
we've
there
also
as like sound
improved on the
isolators
quality and speed
because there's just too much
in
echo
50
in there.
different languages for ChatGPT. And this is very, very important because we want to be able to bring this experience to as many people out there.
That is actually like I would bring that up as a
So
very
we're very,
positive
very
thing because
to bring
obviously
GPT-4o
Apple's
to all of our
efforts in
free
terms
users
of a
out
lot
there.
of their
And for the
features are
paid
limited
users,
to like
they will
English, the
continue to
US, Great
up
Britain.
to 5 times the capacity limits of our free users. But GPT-4o is not only available in ChatGPT, we're also bringing it to the API. So
Is it also cheaper? It's 50% cheaper. So,
our developers
Nick
can
Matthews,
start
if you are
building
like an
today with
industrial
GPT-4o
user, like
and
basically
making
you
amazing
use
AI
ChatGPT to
applications,
make
deploying
money,
them at scale.
it's cheaper.
4o
Whether or
is
not that
available
what that
at
means for
2x
regular
faster,
consumers to just
50%
pay for
cheaper,
the smartest
and 5
version.
times
I mean,
higher
this is
rate
technically
limits
not like a
compared to
replacement for
GPT-4 Turbo.
4.5 Turbo. Like the names are getting stupider and stupider, by the way.
Bring these technologies into the world. It's quite challenging to figure out how to do so in a way that's both useful and also safe. And GPT-4o presents new challenges for us when it comes to safety.
I just refuse to believe that Apple won't be able to catch up with these guys.
And
I refuse to believe that.
Figuring out how to build in mitigation.
Like maybe on a raw level, like when it comes to amount of data they already have or whatever.
With different stakeholders
But
out there,
just like on an
government,
on-device
media, entertainment,
level,
all
Apple
industries, red teamers,
should win.
civil society, to figure out how to best bring these technologies into the world. So over the next few weeks, we'll continue our iterative deployment to bring out all
Wait,
the
are we
capabilities
done?
to you.
No.
But today, I want to show you
Thank God.
all these capabilities.
Okay.
So we'll do some live demos.
Live demos.
I will bring on 2 of our research leads, Mark Chen and Berit Zov, to join me.
Okay, so anybody who watches these events more often than I do, does Sam usually come out, or is this more for people who are more attractive, I guess?
So one of the key capabilities we're really excited to share with you today is real-time conversational speech. Let's just get a demo fired up.
Real-time conversation.
So I'm taking out a phone. If you are wondering about this wire, it's so we have consistent internet. And if you see, there's this little icon on the bottom right of the ChatGPT app. And this will open up GPT-4o's audio capabilities.
Well, let's see. Well, they are working with an iPhone at least.
Hey, ChatGPT. I'm Mark. How are you?
What does this have anything to do?
I'm doing great. Thanks for asking.
Like Siri could
you?
answer how well.
Hey, so I'm on stage
I still
right
don't
now.
like the
I'm doing a
voice
live
though.
demo, and frankly, I'm feeling a little bit nervous. Can you help me calm my nerves a little bit?
What the?
Oh, you're doing a live demo right now? That's awesome. Just take a deep breath. And remember, you're the expert here.
Dave,
I like that
do
suggestion.
you
Let me
actually
try a
believe
couple
this
deep
is
breaths.
live?
Can you give me feedback on my breaths? Okay, here I go.
Whoa, slow
Yeah, this is not real. This
a
is
bit
way
there.
too fast.
Mark?
She
You're not a vacuum
responded
cleaner.
before he was
Breathe in.
basic. No.
for a count of 4.
And I'm not saying this
Okay,
because she's
let me
actually
try again.
helpful.
I'm
I
gonna
just
breathe
don't
in
trust the
deeply,
speed.
and
and then
out.
What is going
more, and
on?
then exhale slowly.
Okay,
Why is
I'll try
the
again.
sound
Breathing in
breaking up?
and breathe out.
Who edited this? Is this live?
How do you feel?
I feel a lot better.
I'm
Thank you so
thinking
much.
of the meme. F it up, do
Mark,
it
you've been
live.
working on these capabilities for a while now. Can you tell us a bit how it's different from voice mode?
Right.
Wait,
So if
that
you
was your
use our
demo?
voice mode
Completely
experience before,
useless
you'll Notice
crap?
a couple key differences. First, you can now interrupt the model. You don't have to.
Oh,
wait for
that
it to
okay.
finish
That
your
you
turn
can interrupt
before
the
you can start
model.
speaking, and you can just butt in whenever you want.
Yeah,
Second,
he's reading from
the
a
model is
teleprompter.
real
Yeah,
time.
I see that
So
where he's
that means
like
that you don't have this
he has like a
awkward
very
2 to 3
specific
second
angle
lag
he looks
before you
at.
wait for the model to give a response.
Nick
And
Matthews,
finally,
you can tell
the model
she's
picks up
AI
on
because
emotions,
she's
right?
way
And I was
too
breathing
happy.
super hard there.
Oh, I
You
love
could tell,
that.
and it-
Subojo, oh
hey,
my
you
god,
might
you're
wanna calm
again
down a little
yelling.
bit.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
You're
Wait,
running a little bit too fast.
I'm moving the
So,
mic a
it
little
really
bit
has
further
that
away.
capability across
Sorry,
the board to
Subojo.
perceive your emotion. Not only that, though, the model is able to generate voice in a variety of different emotive styles, and it really has a wide dynamic range. So I'm going to fire up another demo for
Awesome.
that. Yeah.
Oh, there's one excited guy out there. One
Hey,
guy.
ChatGPT, how are you doing?
I'm doing fantastic. Thanks for asking.
But-
How about you?
But
Pretty
this-
good.
What's up?
So my friend Barrett here, he's been having trouble sleeping lately, and I want you to tell him.
Oh
a
my
bedtime
god, they
story
all
about
ask
robots and
AI
love.
about sleeping habits.
A bedtime story about robots and love? I got you covered. Gather round, Barrett. Once upon a time, in a world not too different from ours, there was a robot named Byte. Byte was a curious robot, always
You
exploring.
started this story,
Like-
but I want a little bit more emotion in your voice.
Oh,
a little
let
bit more
us
drama.
not analyze the story.
Got it. Let's add some drama. Once upon a time, in a world not too different from ours, there was a robot named
No,
Byte.
no, ChatGPT. I really want maximal emotion, like maximal expressiveness, much more than you were doing before.
Understood. Let's amplify the drama. Once upon a time, in a world not too different from ours, there was a robot named Byte.
What is the benefit to
was-
me
Do
from
this in a
this?
robotic voice now?
Initiating dramatic robotic voice.
Yeah, this
Once
is
upon a
happening way
time,
too
in a
fast.
world not
I
too different
like
from
ChatGPT
ours, there
does
was a
never
robot
give responses
named
that
Byte.
fast.
Byte was a curious
This is
robot,
pre-recorded.
always exploring new
So I'm seeing,
circuits.
Barrett here, calm down a little bit. Can you end the story, but do it in a singing voice?
And so Byte found another robot friend, and they lived circuitly ever after.
Thank you so much.
I definitely feel a lot more relaxed.
This is so much worse, by the way, guys, than Apple's ad, right? This is so
You've
much
just seen
more
the voice
disrespectful to
capabilities, but we
actual
also
like
want to show you the vision
storytellers,
capabilities
voice
as
artists.
Models can also see the whole world around us.
Yeah, absolutely. Like as you can see, you can chat with ChatGPT in real time, but you can also interact with it.
Yeah, if
video as
only
well.
we could have asked it something
Let me
useful.
boot up ChatGPT. Hey, ChatGPT.
Hello there. How's it going?
Yeah, it's
It's
super
going really well.
cringe.
Today I'd really like
It's
your help
like
solving a math
Subojo, I'm
problem.
stealing it.
I'm
Cringe.
all ears. What math problem can I help you tackle today?
So I'm
It's
going to write down a linear
ChatGPT,
equation
it's
on a sheet
coming
of paper
for
and I'll
you,
show
yeah,
And
like-
then I'd love your help working me through it.
Subojo,
importantly, don't tell me the
iCaveDave, you're
solution,
saying
just
it's
help
a
give me hints
she?
along the
That's
way.
sexist, man.
Got it. Oh,
But yeah, they also, by the
Okay,
way,
I
fell
see it.
into the trap. It's always a
No, I didn't
woman's
show you
voice.
yet.
It's
Just give me
always
help along
that.
the way. 1 second.
I cannot believe they're even happy to present this
whoops.
shit. It's so
I got too
weird.
excited.
Okay, yeah.
I'm ready when you are.
Show me something. Show me something remotely useful. This is a gimmick. Like, this is literally a gimmick feature right now. Which, like, okay, now you're showing
So-
me math.
ChatGPT. What equation did I write down there?
Ah,
X6
I
was
see it now.
Yeah, okay.
You wrote down 3x plus 1 equals 4.
Yeah, so
Yep,
she's
exactly.
voicing
so what's
what
the
she
first step I
sees.
should take to try to solve this?
The first step is to
4
get all the
minus
terms
1.
with x on one side and the constants on the other side. So what do you think we should do with
Yeah,
that plus
I,
one?
Dave, I was just
Okay,
teasing
I'm gonna
you.
try to
Of course,
subtract one
the
from both
voice is
sides, and then I'll see what I
feminine.
get.
And there are psychological
Great idea.
reasons. We as humans react more positively
Perfect.
to female
Now, what do you get
voices.
when you subtract one from both sides?
Nick Man can't wait for ChatGPT
Okay, so
T1000.
ChatGPT,
Yeah,
this is what I ended up
like-
with. How does this look?
I mean, this is much better
Spot
than
on.
before.
Now you've isolated the term with x on one side, and it looks like
it's
3x
still-
equal
Like
3.
I still question
What do you think
it
we should do
somewhat,
next to solve
but
for
it's
x?
not like it's
I'm not sure. Can you
impossible
give me
for
another
AI
hint?
to solve 3x plus 1.
Of course.
I did it in like a
you
millisecond.
have 3x, and you want to find the
This
value
voice, we
of
have
x.
math bots.
Think about what
a math
operation
boot for
would
this.
undo
Yeah, that's
multiplication.
true. I forgot that
it
application
subtraction?
from a creation. Yeah.
Close,
I
but
remember
think
there
of
was
the
like a
opposite of
big tool
multiplication,
that was
because
completely free on the
3x
web.
means
I don't know if it's
3
still
times
there. I
x.
used it like a decade
Okay, I think
ago.
it's
or
division.
so.
Let me try to divide both sides by 3, and let me see what I get.
Bingo! Go ahead and divide both sides by
Yeah,
3.
Wolfram Alpha does stuff like that, but there was one tool that was just for math. It was really like because a
Okay,
lot of tools
so ChatGPT,
somehow
this is what I ended
like
up with.
they
How
don't
does this
let you
look?
properly write
It
like
looks
mathematical
perfect.
functions.
You've solved
and
it,
there
and
was like
x
one
equals
website
1.
that did it
Nicely
like
done.
perfectly.
How do you feel about solving linear equations now?
Yeah, honestly, I'm now pretty confident I can solve linear equations. But why would you
Shut
ever need
up,
to use
you're
this in the real
a freaking
world? I'm really
developer.
skeptical.
That's a fair question. Linear
Oh, yeah, that
equations
was-
pop up in a
they're
lot
still
of everyday
talking
situations,
to
even
her.
if we don't realize it. For example, calculating expenses, planning travel, cooking, and even in business for profit and loss calculations. It's basically a way to solve
photomath app.
problems, but you need
Yeah,
to find an
there was
unknown
stuff like
value.
that. Well, there
Plus,
was like
it's-
I have a
a
lot of
phase
unknown
in
values
the
in my
early
life.
2010s
I'm totally convinced
where I would say
I can learn
everything
math
was
now.
like attempted to be an app.
I love
and
that
I
attitude.
kind of miss that
math
a little
can
bit.
definitely help solve some of life's
Okay,
mysteries.
if Google
Whenever
bought
you're
them,
ready
then
to dive
well,
into more math,
I hope
I'm
they
here
didn't
for you.
kill them Google
Anything
style
else
if
you'd
they
like to
bought them.
tackle today?
So ChatGPT, I really love that you taught the value of math to my friend Mark. And I wrote one last thing I'd love if you could take a look at.
Of course. I'd love to see what you wrote. Show it to me whenever you're ready.
Okay, so this is what I wrote down. What do you see?
I see. I
No.
love ChatGPT. That's so
like,
sweet of you.
ChatGPT should say,
Yeah, well, I
I
really appreciate
see,
all the
I
help.
heart ChatGPT.
So yeah, as we can see,
That response, why would it? Oh my god, the audience is completely
Wow,
captured.
that's quite the outfit you've got on.
yeah, as we can
Love-
see, we can chat
What?
in real time
What
to
does it
ChatGPT. And not only that, we can interact with it with
Wait,
video
what
as well.
was that?
And I swear,
Is-
like, if you look at Barrett's GPT history, it's all equations like this.
Wait, what was that with the
Now
outfit?
that
They
you know
didn't
you
say
can do
anything
linear
about an
equations, can you
outfit.
show us something more complex?
I think so. Okay, next let's try something coding related. So let me take out a computer for
Google
this.
has officially added PhotoMath to its portfolio of apps. The tech giant announced the acquisition in 2002,
Okay.
but only
So I'm
completed.
gonna
Okay,
open
so maybe
the
they will
ChatGPT
like
desktop app,
properly.
like Mira was talking about before.
Well, at least they all use Mac stuff and
Okay.
Apple stuff.
And to
That's
give a
kind
bit of background on what's
encouraging.
going on, so here we
The
have
audience sounds
a
like
computer, and on the screen
AI.
We have some code, and then the ChatGPT voice app is on the right. So ChatGPT will be able to hear me, but it can't see anything on the screen.
Well, Dave,
So
the
I'm gonna
audience
highlight the
cannot
code,
blink. It's
and then
AI.
see it, and then that will send it to ChatGPT. And then I'm going to talk about the code
In
to
space,
ChatGPT.
no one can see you blink.
Hey ChatGPT.
Or in
Hey
the
there,
cloud.
How's it going?
Yeah, it's going really well. I was wondering if you could help me with a coding problem today.
What
Of
app did they
course,
integrate
I'd
it
love
with?
to help you out.
Oh,
What's
okay.
the coding
He
problem
like
you're dealing with?
inserted like a Python.
Okay, I'm going to share with you some code. 1 second.
Sure thing. Take your time.
Wait, how is he sharing it? He's just copy pasting the
Okay.
entire code?
So I just shared some code with you. Could you give me a really brief one-sentence description of what's going on in the code?
This code fetches daily weather
Okay,
data
yeah, this is
for a
completely
specific location and time
pre-recorded.
period,
This is way too
smooths the
fast.
temperature data
Like
using
she
a rolling
takes
average,
zero time to
annotates a
analyze it. That's
significant weather event
never
on the
how
resulting plot,
this
and
is
then
how it
displays
shouldn't
the
even
plot
work.
with the average, minimum, and maximum temperatures over the year.
Awesome, thanks so much. And in the code, there's this function foo. Can you describe to me what the plot would look like if I had versus didn't have this
Guys,
function?
please, Nick, Dave,
Sure.
Zuboy,
The
to
function
everyone
foo
who's
x,
here,
y
let me
takes
know,
in a
does
data
it
frame
feel to you
X
like this is
containing
actually
temperature
running
data
live?
and a window size y for calculating
Because
the rolling
it feels
mean.
way too
It smooths
fast.
the
That's the
average
only
temperature,
very impressive
minimum
thing. Everything
temperature,
else they're
and
showing is
maximum
not
temperature
even
columns
that new
by
to
applying
AI.
a rolling mean
And
over
a lot
the
of what they've
specified
shown are
window.
just like gimmick
With
features.
the foo function, the plot would show smoother temperature lines because the rolling mean reduces
This
the
is not
noise
on
or
device AI.
fluctuations
This is
in the
still
data.
in the
Awesome.
cloud,
This makes-
as far as
Thanks
I
so much.
understand.
So yeah, I definitely will want to apply this function. And so I'm going to generate the plot and then show it to you. Give me 1 second.
Absolutely. Take your time. I'm
It just
excited to see the
uses
plot when
like
you're ready.
device stuff,
Yeah.
like
So far, ChatGPT has only been able
With-
to see
with
the
the
code.
app.
And now I'm going to run it, and then I'll use the vision capabilities of the ChatGPT desktop app, so it can actually
it's
see everything going on
absolutely
the screen
not
as well.
live, but it is live. I get you.
Okay, ChatGPT. I'm sharing with you the plot now. I'm wondering if you can give me a really brief one-sentence overview of what you see.
The plot displays smoothed average, minimum, and maximum temperatures throughout 2018, with a notable
Smooth. Oh,
annotation
smooth
marking
because
a
it's-
big rainfall event in late September.
Huh? What?
Fantastic. I have another question for you.
She
which months do you
she
see the
basically
hottest
gave like
temperatures, and roughly
her
what
own
temperatures do those
editorializing
correspond
to it. Nick, you're saying it
The
could be
hottest
live.
temperatures
ChatGPT
occur
stint
around July
it's pretty
and
insane. It has
August.
never been
The
that
maximum
instant to
temperature
me.
during these months is
Regarding
roughly
the speed,
between
it could be
25
okay.
degrees and 30
Well,
degrees.
that would be the most impressive
77
stuff
degrees
here.
Fahrenheit to 86 degrees
Because
Fahrenheit.
the features themselves are cool, but they're
What's going on
not
with
brand
the
new.
y-axis? Is this in Celsius or Fahrenheit?
The y-axis is in Celsius. The temperatures are labeled accordingly, such as average temperature, minimum temperature, and maximum temperature.
Yeah. So as we can see, not only can ChatGPT help me solve very
I'll
easy
be like a
linear,
little bit more
algebra
positive,
equations
like
that I need help
right,
with.
impressive
It can also
speed,
interact with code bases and see
advanced
the outputs of plots
functionality.
and everything like this going on a computer.
I don't know how much better it actually is versus ChatGPT 4.5 Turbo or whatever, but it by itself is not
few
bad.
minutes ago, we
Small
asked the
shout
live
out to
audience
the
on
guys
X
for
to
using
submit
basically
few
only
requests for
Apple
what they
stuff,
would like us to
even though
try
they're
out
like
here.
a Microsoft
So
cooperating
I will take
company.
a couple of prompts. Okay. Bot Gaskar wants to know if GPT-4o is capable of real-time translation.
Yeah, Nick, you're saying you doubt it's live.
Mark, you wanna try
I
this
think
one?
it would
Sure. Yeah,
technically
let's
be
do it.
capable
I
of all
speak
those
Italian,
things,
so
but
you can
the
check with
absolutely
Italian.
instantaneous
Sure,
speed,
let's do it.
and again, also yes, you say the quality
Hey,
assurance
ChatGPT,
stuff.
how are
Yeah,
you?
that makes me doubt it a little.
I'm doing fantastic. Thanks for asking. How about you? How's your day going?
I'm doing great. So I would like you to function as a translator. I have a friend here who only speaks Italian, and I only speak English. And every time you hear English, I want you to translate it to Italian. And if you hear Italian, I want you to translate it back
Okay,
to
so
English. Is that
yeah,
good?
I mean, she already does
Perfetto.
that. Like she, oh my god, I hate using gender
Mark, io mi
pronouns for
chiedo
AI,
se le
but
balene potessero parlare, cosa ci direbbero?
no, that's where her
Mike,
accent
she
is from.
wonders if whales could talk, what would they tell us?
They might ask, how do we solve linear equations?
Potrebbero chiederci come risolviamo le equazioni lineari.
Sicuramente sì.
Certainly, yes.
Great. Looks
Yeah,
like it works.
she adds like emotions to all this. Nah, it feels pre-made in
Alright.
that regard.
So the next one is from
Snapdragon is not out yet, who knows?
Can you tell what you're
Do
feeling?
you think
just
that
by
it will
looking at
all
your
be
face?
running on the
Barrett, you wanna give
X-Elite
this
once
one a
it's
try?
out?
Absolutely, let's try it out.
Because it just needs 45 tops.
Hey,
It
ChatGPT.
cannot run on the M4 with
Hey
38.
there. What's up? How can I brighten your day today?
Okay, yeah, so I'm going to show you a selfie of what I look like, and then I'd like you to try to see what emotions I'm feeling based on how I'm looking.
Sounds like a fun challenge. Go ahead and show me that selfie, and I'll put my
Oh,
emotional
they're
detective hat
using
on.
like the low
Okay,
quality like
so
camera
here's me.
API.
So what kind of emotions do you think I'm feeling?
Or is that because of the light? Like this is a very
It
low
seems
quality
like I'm looking at a
throughput for an
picture of a
iPhone
wooden
15 Pro.
surface.
Oh, you know what? That was
let-
the thing I sent you before. Don't worry, I'm not actually a table. Okay, so take another look.
That makes more sense.
What? But you're using? No, this is
There we go.
pre-recorded. Yeah.
It looks
This
like
is
you're feeling
pre-made. This
pretty
was on
happy and
purpose.
cheerful, with a big smile and maybe even a touch of excitement. Whatever's
Are
going
you able
on,
to
it
use
seems like
ChatGPT
you're in
without
a great
asking how
mood.
she is, or will she
Care to
refuse
share
to
the source
join?
of those good
Well,
vibes?
they have done
Yeah,
like
no,
not
the
like
reason I'm in a really
studies,
good mood is 'cause we were
but
doing a
you can
presentation
like
showcasing
force
how
an
useful
AI
and
to do
amazing you are.
something, right? Sometimes it refuses, and to tell
Oh,
them like,
stop
oh,
it.
I
You're
will
making me
complain,
blush.
and then it will actually do it. This is pre-recorded stuff. Once she
Amazing.
started analyzing
Well,
a
that's it
photo
for
that
today
wasn't
on live
actually in the
demos.
live feed,
As
this
you
is
can see,
pre-recorded.
this just feels so magical, and that's wonderful. But we also want to remove some of the mysticism from the technology and bring it to you so you can try it for yourself.
Snapdragon X
over the
Elite has
next few weeks,
45
we'll be
tops,
rolling
yeah.
out these capabilities to everyone. Today has been very much
Yeah,
focused on free users
the
and new
mistake was
modalities and new
unironically
products,
the thing
but
that
we
felt
also
the most
care a lot
artificial,
about
in
the
my
next
opinion.
frontier. So soon,
Like,
we'll be
and her
updating you
response
on
also
our
doesn't make
progress
sense
towards
to
the next
that.
big thing.
Like, she's like way
And
too like,
before we wrap
oh,
up, I just want to thank the
okay.
incredible OpenAI team, and also thanks to Jensen and the NVIDIA team for bringing us the most advanced GPUs to make this demo possible today. And thank you all very, very much for being a part of this today.
Oh my god, the audience is like, maybe those are like Elon's new robots, and they've only been trained for like clapping. Guys, we have still a couple of people watching while we are wrapping this part of the stream up. I will be still streaming on because this isn't too long. I won't be talking too long about it. But if you're watching this, if you're enjoying this, please subscribe, please like, please share, please comment. And if you want to support this channel directly, you can leave a super chat or a super sticker with a small financial donation, or you can subscribe to my Patreon. The link is in the description of this channel. Yeah, they called out Jensen. The new GPUs they use don't cost 2,000. The GPUs they use cost like 2 million. Once we are talking about the server for like the racks there, you also shouldn't forget that like a 4090 might be $1,600, but that it's 24 gigs of RAM GPU. That's pretty much useless in the world of big AI. So you would have to stepping up at least to their $6,000 like cloud ready GPU. Everyone checks under their chairs, find a ChatGPT raccoon device, which is their version of the humanely killing rabbit. Yeah, it's all AI, man. It's like the days of like look under your seat are somewhat over, unfortunately. In terms of like what Mark Zuckerberg did when everyone was able to like find the Quest under, or was it an Oculus at that point, still under their seats. Times have changed. It's an enterprise thread depending how big you need, and 200. I always like, I've even watched like that NVIDIA Invent live, but I just forget it. I'm sorry. It's really hard to keep up with all their name. So like they probably are using the latest Blackwell cards. That's what I was kind of getting at. And H100 was their last major generation, so I kind of would assume this one is just H200. Then when it comes to even like the rack, it also depends. Are you using always like dual GPUs on every part of it and stuff like that? So I have no idea. That kind of performance honestly could make the features like that run instantaneously. I promise you that this will never be the speed that like a free user will actually experience, but it's better than nothing. What you're saying, it's B100. Well, yeah, they're using like the name of the architecture. I can briefly look that up. Guess what makes sense? NVIDIA Blackwell B100. What do they offer? B200, B100. Yeah, it seems that way. Because Blackwell, they use like the first letter of the architecture. They do the same with like for like their die sizes, where they will call like something Ada 104, 102, 103 or whatever. Is there any news? Oh my god, they have 1400 KS reviews on the Nantech website. Yeah, so this was basically the YouTube event from OpenAI. I have to say, I'm not very impressed in that regard. It's interesting to say the least. I'm not downplaying the achievements of modern AI, but it's like I wonder though, like, does that actually like bode well for like what customers think if you present it that way? Because like this is not a fully featured voice assistant in many ways. Like it still lacks like obvious data about you. They didn't say that it was like integrated with your calendar or anything, right? So it's basically like as they called it, it's a real-time conversational speech AI, basically now using an omni model that basically in parallel handles voice, text, and vision, now including also like a desktop app, so it probably is like easier to integrate for stuff like coding, right? But obviously their phone application seems to be somewhat the focus, obviously also because the camera can be used for newer stuff. It on and of itself uses a new model, which is GPT-4o. Again, not something any one of us expected because they're calling it a flagship model, but it's technically like even branded worse than ChatGPT 4.5. The focus here is a little bit on smarts, a lot apparently on speeds, and the fact that it's now a lot better for free users. Now, as I believe Nick asked it, right? What that means for like anybody who pays right now, I have no idea. If that means that they will soon introduce an even better paid version, like a ChatGPT 4.50 Turbo XAY blah blah blah. I don't know, but when they will introduce that, they will have an even more enthusiastic crowd. I'm pretty sure about that. Yeah, so again, I don't want to downplay it. I would say that the conversational aspect, if it can actually be replicated, it's quite impressive. I think, honestly, it's overdone. Like, I don't need my AI to be hyper-expressive. I honestly would prefer it to be just as fast as possible, just as accurate as possible. I don't need those cringe demos. I think we're long past that time. Like, AI has improved so much. We don't need to hear like how the AI is doing. We don't need to have it do crazy voices. It then becomes a gimmick because it's not like she will like generate you the exact voice you would want for like some kind of like performance. That will still be like a separate a separate app, I guess, built on that model. But yeah, it just feels a little weird. Like the nature of this presentation feels like not professional. As Dave mentioned it, like their microphones were kind of crap, and I'm the guy sitting in front of a Blue Yeti and screaming into it occasionally. So that means a lot when I say it. It's definitely not running offline if they like specific. Well, it's running probably offline for them because they're right next to the cloud, I guess. But it's not running on a Snapdragon X Elite. It's not running on the M4 chip or whatever, or even the A17 Pro. They had like iPhone 15 Pro Max as everyone. So yeah, a lot of interesting stuff, but honestly, nothing worth a presentation. As Dave mentioned during the presentation, they really want you to know how smart they are, and that's really honestly what it feels like. This is not like, even if I were like an investor and really liking everything that like brings up the excitement for the brand up, like in this case I would just feel like, does this actually improve anything about the brand perception, right? How much value does it offer, like realistically? And I just think it's basically more OpenAI. It's, in my opinion, it feels like they're in some ways falling behind other competitors, or at least like free competitors, are offering a lot of good stuff like Facebook, and this is why they really felt like, oh, we need something that is much better for free users. We need something that feels smarter but maybe isn't still quite as smart as something that actually makes us money, like ChatGPT 4.5. And they said this is like 50% cheaper for the API. I don't know, like, given that they now have to invest into B100s and B200 servers, that's honestly, like, I have no idea what their long-term monetization strategy is. Like, I think they hope that their model will just be so much better than everyone else that at some point they might be the only ones actually capable of like asking significant licensing costs, and everybody else will just like basically offer their stuff for free. Others, like even others AIs, might still like license out their stuff. This is why when we get back to like more Apple specific stuff, right, this is why we still until this day don't fully understand, and we probably, it might even be that at dub we won't fully understand it. But if Apple is like working on some level to give you ChatGPT functionality in Siri in iOS 18, we might actually not always know when like ChatGPT begins where Siri ends, because at that point we'll also have like questions about like, well, some stuff is definitely offline. I assume like calendars, reminders, alarms, all that standard stuff. But once it comes to stuff like what are unique custom birthday gift ideas for my coffee-loving mom, maybe at that point Apple hands it over to ChatGPT. I don't know. Dave, you're jumping out. Cheers, Mark. Have a great rest of the stream. Thank you, man. Thank you so much for joining. I'll probably be joining your stream on Friday if you are streaming, because I'm not streaming on Friday. I'm taking a small trip, but I will be on the train for a while, so I might have to find something to entertain myself. So thanks to everyone who was willing to watch that. I have to say it was less interesting than I kind of hoped. Guys, everyone who is still here, let me know what you would like to see me cover, because I do have some topics that I do want to cover, definitely. No, I don't want images of iPad mini. Why is always it in German? I have changed it. Is the Mac rumors iPad mini? They have actually a very nice search interface. That's cool. iPad mini 6 rumors. Because we've had some interesting iPad mini 6 is the last one. It's not the current one. To cover latest Dave's video, I might, but he didn't say anything crazy. He just said like smart stuff. I think Dave won't have anything against that, right? The key to fixing Apple's troubled iPad. It sort of continues where we left off. Basically the rumor I wanted to say is that the iPad mini is supposedly not coming until the very end of the year. He might actually mention that in this video. So let's see.
Just a week ago.
As always, please let me know if my audio is working all right. Suboito, don't spoil. That's not the crux of the entire video, so it should still work. Yeah, okay, so let's see.
Tim Cook stepped out on the Apple Park virtual stage and said,
"This is the biggest day for iPad since its introduction."
The world sat up ready for what was to come. And there it was. iPad Air certainly...
By the way, I just want to say, I don't think it was the biggest day ever for the iPad. I think thus far it would probably be the introduction of the Magic Keyboard. That's probably like the biggest thing.
Got the biggest it ever had with a new 13-inch size. iPad Pro got impossibly thin and forgot one of its cameras, presumably left in its other roomier trousers. The basic non-Pro Air-free iPad 10th generation got a nearly 30% price cut, and we even got a new Apple Pencil, because how could 3 pencils possibly have been enough? But there was one absence that filled the room: the perfect iPad. Mini sidebar.
Oh, that's
I
the
didn't
video.
expect
Yeah,
us to be getting
I actually
the
don't
iPad
think I
Mini.
fully watched
There were no
this.
rumours of the update at this one, despite some people online predicting that there would be. But it has been a while. Like
Thank you, Zuboito.
972 days, kind of a while. That's almost 33 months. You don't even measure kids in months at that point. That is a 2.5-year-old. That's a toddler. Too
It's
old
true,
for a little
he's right.
perfect iPad.
Yeah,
Anyway,
I
back to the
mistook
topic.
it for his
All
other
of the new
video.
iPads were
It's
announced
fun.
except for the perfectly sized one, and yet it's
Zuboito, you're saying 4 pencils are nuts. No. Watch one of my previous stream. I perfectly break down why they're like some of the pencils being sold. If you're buying like a new iPad Air or iPad Pro, you basically don't need to consider even like the Lightning Apple Pencil at all, or the Apple Pencil 2. And if you're buying the iPad Mini, then you're choosing between the USB-C version and the iPad and the Apple Pencil 2, but that's because the iPad Mini hasn't been updated yet. Apple will keep on selling the Apple Pencil 2 and the Lightning Apple Pencil for a long while, because there will be people with older iPads who still want to buy those pencils. It's not that like you can pair all 4 pencils with the iPad Pro.
seems the internet is still
It is stupid. Well, it is stupid because tech evolves. If you actually look at every generation of Samsung S Pen that has ever existed, right? You would probably like end up with what, 6 S Pens or whatever on their website, including when you actually look into the stuff that is tablet specific, then the ones that fit into the Galaxy devices. I'm fine with Apple Pencil 2nd Gen and new Pro. Gen 1 does not exist for you, Zuboito. Gen 1 exists because there are still people out there with Lightning iPads. It's basically like a retro device. It's not supposed to fit the newer ones, though you can make it work with the 10th gen iPad through an accessory, but at that point just get the USB-C. And yeah, the USB-C one is dumb. That one exists simply as a compromise because of the compromised camera design on the 10th generation iPad. If you actually think of, like, in my opinion, in late 2024, we should get an update for the iPad mini that gives it support for the Apple Pencil Pro while still keeping support for the USB-C Apple Pencil, and then the iPad 11th generation would probably move up from like an A14 chip to an A16, while the iPad mini gets like an A17 or A18 chip, and it also then gets a slightly changed camera that then allows it to have compatibility with Apple Pencil Pro and not just with what I have started calling the dumb Apple Pencil, which is the USB-C one.
still not happy, because they'd been saying all along their problem with the iPad is not the hardware, but the software. Even though they were all pretty happy when the FaceTime camera got moved to the landscape side on the Pro and the Air, which sure sounds like a hardware
Wispy,
change. Almost centered on
hallo,
everything.
hallo,
Johnny Ive would have been so proud. No,
aus
what
Deutschland
everyone
auch.
wanted was to make the iPad more usable, being able to truly multitask and take advantage of the power of the chips. Now, I would argue that apps like Final Cut Pro on the iPad already does that, especially when it's collating video feeds from...
He's correct. I've said that in some of my previous live streams. It's not about leveraging the performance of the M4, because yes, I'm sure that there will be scenarios where it gets maxed out by pro applications, certain games, whatever. The point is, what exactly is maxing out the M4? People who are saying that the M4 is underutilized don't really know how iPadOS works, don't know how games work, don't know how pro apps work. Yeah, Dave is pointing out correctly, like, Final Cut already does that on other apps too. It's just that people still want more or something else.
For iPads or iPhones in real time, but what do I know? But Apple doesn't make all the apps though, so it might be worth pointing your fingers at the developers of the apps that you want to use
Exactly.
that power in. Now, WWDC might fix some of the issues.
Some, not
the second
all.
most common
Yeah.
was file management. And now basically everyone is okay with split screen apps on the iPad. Can we just have Finder? Now, it seems to me that if Files was replaced along with the biggest challenge Apple has faced to date, a calculator app for the iPad, most people would probably be happy. Happier.
Yeah,
The biggest
happier.
issue
Yeah,
for the
that's
iPad
a
for
good
me
take.
is the sprawling and confused lineup. iPad Pro is now lighter than air, by which I mean the
Wispy,
iPad Air,
freut mich,
which
dass
is
dir
now a
gut geht.
chunky boy, so the name makes zero sense. Now, with all the iPads and sizes, and this is not counting differences of storage and stuff like that, there are 6 major lines, 4 Apple Pencils, and 5 very expensive keyboards. You get my drift? The key. The perfect iPad Mini. Don't you move. Don't you move. I can justify it.
He is on one level with John Prosser. I always want to call him John Processor. John Prosser from Front Page Tech.
I don't know.
Toilet
with the
Squad
iPad Mini
represent.
having an 8.3-inch display versus the largest iPhones, getting a 6.7, soon to be 6.9-inch with the iPhone 16 Pro Max later this year. Is it bigger enough to be worth it? Doesn't get a proper keyboard from Apple, so is it a proper work machine? It just runs an A15 chip, not the M chips like the higher value products. Actually, it has a way bigger display than it sounds like, and that's because iPads have a different aspect ratio than the iPhones.
That's correct.
The iPhone 15 Pro Max has the biggest display by far, around 16 square inches, while the iPad Mini
So, but
is way
you called
ahead
our suppliers.
with
There's still a
40
bunch of
square
5th
inches.
gen
Now, that's a
iPad
massive
Airs on
difference.
stock.
Also, while the iPhone 15
You
Pro
can get
Max
5th
weighs
gen
in at
Air for
221
585
grams, the iPad Mini is
euros
only about
with
70
64
grams
gigs
more
of
at
storage.
293. Now that's way more screen for not much more weight. But one change to the iPad Mini would allow Apple to eliminate 2 of the Apple Pencils out of the 4 that are in the lineup right now, or at least move them to like a legacy accessories segment of the web.
This is what I have said. Like even the Apple Pencil 1 is technically already a legacy accessory. The fact that you can make it compatible with iPad 10th gen is such a ludicrous workaround. It's completely baffling.
Website maybe. Apple, this might be a good time to get out your notepad. And that is simply moving the camera to the landscape side like they've done with the others. I'm not confident they will though. But if they do the same.
Yeah, he's right, because the way you would use an iPad mini is probably more beneficial for a portrait camera. But then again, if you have a portrait mode camera, that makes it even easier to integrate the Apple Pencil Pro, so there is even less to worry about.
Same with the 10th gen iPad. Both the base and iPad Mini would be able to have the same edge charging that would be compatible with the Apple Pencil Pro or the lower priced Apple Pencil USB-C. The other two can go and hang out in the legacy segment for people adding to their older models or replacing lost ones. Now, what should we expect in September though? Other than
the problem is, does Apple even have like that much legacy stuff on their website? Like, I know obviously they sell like older accessories, but from what I understand, you can still find them. Like if you scroll far enough on the like non-filtered accessories pages. Like if I look for chargers, I will inevitably find still like Lightning stuff. Well, granted, Lightning stuff is also still being sold in general, but you catch my drift. It's not like Apple has like a very big like legacy portion on their website. Well, if 64 gigs would be enough for you, then yeah, that price is okay. Because obviously in euro we have to account for the value-added tax. For me personally, 64 gigabytes is just a little bit too limiting. Like even in like a very like, oh, I take notes with it kind of device. I think 128 is actually plenty. If we actually look at like 96 gigabytes, probably would be somewhere perfect for a device where you don't do too much with it, but also not quite nothing. But yeah, Apple doesn't build that storage config.
Camera move. Well, a more recent A chip, most likely the A17 is what I would have said, but I believe the A17 was built on the same node as the M3, which has been moved on from very quickly because the yields were so low. And maybe that actually means that we could get an A18 inside of this thing, just like the iPhone 16. Great, and give the iPad Mini a big boost on the graphics side, as well as AI from the neural cores that we've been hearing so much about recently. And as the iPad Mini seems to be more closely related to the iPad Air line than it is to the base iPad, it might also get bumped.
That's also correct. The iPad Mini is basically like a non-M series iPad Air in most ways. It cannot be it cannot really host an M series processor without significant compromises, so it should just get whatever is a relatively reasonable modern like processor from the A series. You just read books and draw some ideas on iPad. Well, as I said, if you know that 64 gigs is enough for you, then that's ultimately your decision, and I think you would be correct. Like, there are some people who are like in the tech community who I don't deem very knowledgeable about their own needs, like, and it goes into both directions. There are some people who I believe are way too aggressive in saying, oh, I can deal with like the base model. Like Drew from Tylosive Tech had that for a while when he said like, oh, I can basically make like an iPhone 10R work for me or whatever. And then ultimately he now has an iPhone 15 Pro. I also think there are people on the upper end, people who are like, oh, I need 2 terabytes. Oh, I need this and that. So if you say you know you will be fine with 64 gigabytes from all our interactions on Twitter or whatever, I tend to trust you.
Up to 128 gigabytes of base storage, just like the Air did last week. That may
yeah,
come
and
to the base.
Of course, if you do have any kind of update plans, like getting a Mini eventually, and like the new Mini would like fix jelly scrolling, get an even better processor than like an older iPad Air because the single core performance would be much better. Yeah, I if that is actually your plan in some ways, then I would just say, yeah, go for it. Drew is changing his devices non-stop, even he sold well, yeah, this is the point though. Like he says he's about a more minimalistic tech lifestyle in that regard, but his switching from device to device exposes him ultimately to more technology, to more complications and stuff like that. But now he does have an iPhone 15 Pro. Yes, he doesn't have an Apple Watch anymore, and yeah, he has sold his iPad for quite a while, as far as I understand, because he does just all his stuff on his MacBook Pro.
These 11th generation iPads. But what won't the iPad Mini be getting? Basically, Pro stuff.
Yeah.
So M-chip, ProMotion,
Promo,
4K RAW video,
OLED,
that kind of stuff. And I think it's fine because there should be no need for that stuff on a tiny pocketable tablet.
I disagree. I would love an iPad Mini that I don't need an M series processor, because then I would really wonder what its battery life implications would be. But I would love an iPad Mini with the screen of the current iPad Pro. Can you imagine? That would make every like drawing by the new Apple Pencil completely instantaneous. It would make just like reading so effortless with like the way that like blacks are perfectly black. And I disagree in that regard, Dave. Subodh, you were saying that Drew's basically like selling device stuff is more like experiment. You can live without Apple Watch and iPad. Of course, it's not about whether or not you can live with or without something. It's just that the point comes like, at what point do you create more complication for yourself, especially as like a tech channel, by taking away your interaction with certain technology, right? Like, I would argue that he should have kept an iPad Pro just to be still up to date on iPad OS, just to still be like in that regard. It's I don't want to downplay Drew. I actually really like him. I think he is, for one, very likable in general. I also think he's pretty knowledgeable overall. He's been following Apple a lot for a long time. He's been covering Apple for a long time. In some ways, he is one of the OGs when it comes to like Apple sheep coverage. I just find it weird, like, given that there's so much that one can get from iPad and stuff.
Don't expect OLED.
By the way, guys, is my stream acting
iPad
up?
OS, though, I don't know. Software is much less likely to be spotted in a supply chain than a new display panel or a camera assembly, which is why WWDC is probably the most exciting Apple event every year. But what do you...
What's OBS saying? Is this like drop frames? Well, maybe that was just on my iPad end. Guys, can you let me know, were there like issues with my stream right now? Well, yeah, in some ways, I actually think the iPad Mini is actually, in some ways, actually like the perfect iPad, because, as he said, he gives you a surprising amount of screen real estate. It works well as a notebook, as you can say. It just needs a little bit different hardware, and we know that because we have some of that hardware already on iPhone, right? OLED, ProMotion, we know the benefits those kinds of technologies have for a smaller screen that you hold like that. And yeah, in some ways you wouldn't expect an iPad mini like that to even be a computer replacement. And I would probably be even happier having like an iPad mini next to me, or at least like a 10-inch iPad as my comment device during my live streams. Instead, I do have like a 13-inch iPad Pro next to me, which is obviously quite bulky for such a task.
You want beyond files and being able to somehow magically use more of the power in an iPad for iPadOS? Let me know down in the comments. Thank you to the paper.
By the way, big shout out to iCaveDave, not just for joining this live stream, but also for putting out pretty great videos recently, like with also pretty good views relatively quickly. So I wish him all the best. He definitely deserves that silver play button too. So a massive shout out here. Really great content creator. Actually, like almost a household name in like Apple coverage. But he's been recently like changing up some of his formats, and I really like what he is doing there. And yeah, the reason why he's covering that is how do I even sort any of that here? Like it just jumps to summaries, right? I cannot just click on. Yeah, it gives you the summaries. I just want to see whatever is like recent. Apple releases 17.5 officially. Well, that's nice. I'll have to update my devices afterwards, I guess. We have more benchmark. Zboitu, you're liking Dave as well. He's a UK EU buddy. Yeah, given that how most of coverage seems to come from America, I can kind of understand that. It feels like a little bit different when somebody's like covering it from your closer up region. Oh yeah, this is what I wanted to cover. It's not too much. But basically, yeah, this is I think this is probably also in some ways what has been encouraging Dave's coverage. Suboto, I don't know how long I will be online, because I also do want to still stream in the next couple of days as well. So I just want to preserve my voice as much as possible. I'll probably be on for like another half hour or so. And then see what else comes up. Maybe somebody joins the chat, recommends a topic. I'm always open to this stuff. Yeah, so if you have to leave, that's absolutely fine. I fully understand that we all have like responsibilities in life and stuff like that. Don't forget, subscribe, like, comment, share. I've said it to everyone else. If you want to support this channel directly, super chats, super stickers are your direct option while I'm live, or subscribing to my Patreon if you want to support it in the long term. So, iPad mini, this is a somewhat negative piece of news or rumors in that regard, because it's saying that we are not expecting new iPad minis, which would be like an iPad mini 7, before late 2024 at the earliest. So we might have to wait until early 2025, which would be close to a year from now, which would be absolutely insane, even if it's like a February or March thing in 2025. That is absolutely unwarranted. I don't know. I think the reason for the late 2024 potential release might actually be its usage of an A18 chip. And I think at that point we probably will never get an A17 chip. We might forever just only get an A17 Pro. So boy, we'll keep the stream open. So yeah, exactly. Just look if I'm still there. That's fine. Otherwise, have a good trip to the store and then have a nice evening. So the reason why I'm saying that why it might get like an A18 is supposedly Apple is moving very quickly on from the A17 chip and the N3B node that it's built on, which we have also seen with how quickly they've moved from the M3 chip to now the M4. So maybe we will see something similar like that, but now with the iPad mini. And this is part of a Power On newsletter from Gurman. I've actually been outraged that it always comes out while I'm streaming, and then when I check the website I always miss out some of the news. It's just Mark Gurman and I just don't vibe well through the Power On newsletter website. So basically the idea is it's a very small refresh. It would keep basically the same form factor. As iCaveDave also said in the video we've just covered, it would probably get capabilities with an Apple Pencil Pro. It might move the camera from portrait mode orientation to landscape, though I believe it doesn't have to necessarily, right? I do believe it would just get Apple Pencil Pro regardless. And then for everything else, it just would be a nice 60 hertz screen. Maybe that goes up to 600 nits of brightness. We saw that with the 13-inch iPad Air, which is now brighter than the 11-inch iPad Air. And maybe Apple will believe, because this is supposedly getting a new panel that fixes jelly scrolling issues and is differently oriented in with its display control and everything. So maybe Apple would make it possible to run it at 600 nits. They could give it also further improvements to stuff like cooling. Again, maybe incorporate some of the stuff from the iPad Pro, like the Copper Apple logo. The reason why I'm saying that is because I don't know yet what the power consumption of the A18 will be like. Obviously, the current iPad mini is pretty good at managing the A15, so I'm not jumping out of my seat in expectation to get a lot better cooling. I would also expect it to have more memory. How much exactly, I really wouldn't be able to tell you. The non-Pro A18 on the iPhone 16 is rumored to be 8 gigabytes. This could be a 6 gigabyte thing. You have to consider that the current iPad mini comes with 4 gigabytes of memory on its a 15 chip. Also, the iPad mini currently comes with 64 gigabytes of memory at $499. This makes it pretty terrible value in comparison to the $599 iPad Air, which just got its repositioned camera, Apple Pencil Pro support. Obviously, it has an M2 chip. So yeah, there's quite a lot that makes the iPad Air better, especially now that it, for just $100 more, it has double the storage, double the memory, and effectively much faster processor and stuff like that. So the iPad mini definitely needs a lot of those improvements, but who knows, maybe there is some surprise there that we don't yet know. Maybe it's actually a secret big redesign. Maybe there will be an iPad mini and an iPad mini Pro, but obviously that is completely speculative. Everything's for now points to a pretty small scale update, just you like the iPad mini, well, now it's faster, has slightly nicer screen, and basically it's a little bit more modern. So my assumption is similar to iCaveDave's, where it would be moving to an A18, skipping the A17. It's kind of a shame, though, in my opinion, that Apple didn't update it right after the iPhone, because the iPad mini is such a small niche product. In my opinion, you could have easily given it a slightly bent A17, used A17s inside it that had to have one GPU core disabled, and then going from there, give it 6 gigs of RAM, which Apple has plenty of 6 gigabytes of LPDDR5 memory. They're using it on the A16 chip, and I think that would have been a nice update. And then they could have had an update, and exactly 1 year later, with its slightly better processor now, even more efficient, and now that processor is on the N3E node, which means it has much longer supply. They can keep the device for longer in the lineup, though at that point the screen would start to age and things like that. So yeah, my opinion, they should have just given it an A17 chip. I don't think that TSMC would have been angry at Apple if they had sourced one more chip on the N3B node, given that it would still be the same A17 chip, just not the fully enabled die. So yeah, according to Mark Gurman, until the end of this year at the earliest. Now that could mean like an October, November release, maybe in 2024, maybe like a February, March, April 2025 release, which obviously would be pretty insane. Yeah, obviously for anybody who expects any changes at dub, I kind of think that Apple would have just updated it if they were planning to update it anytime soon. They would have just shown it during the last keynote and just said, oh, it's coming maybe like 2 weeks later than the iPad mini, than the iPad Air and the iPad Pro. I don't think they would have just like delayed it until WWDC. That doesn't make much more sense. There could be camera upgrades in play. Who knows? I don't care that much about iPad cameras. The iPad mini is undoubtedly the best iPad for camera stuff, but it's still an iPad in that regard, and it still won't have the same like camera capabilities as an iPhone, certainly not as a Pro iPhone. And then for everything else, as they also point out, jelly scrolling. Again, I also would add like double the base storage. They say that its appearance hasn't changed for a while. I don't see a reason for it to change its appearance now. Yeah, I think we have a pretty good iPad mini. I think based on that design, we can iterate quite a lot. We can keep very decent compatibility with current accessories, like the Apple Pencil. And then we can just decide like how popular is it, how often does it need updates, and what updates does it need specifically. Like how much performance does it need, how much cooling, how much battery, where should its camera be in comparison to like the iPad Air and the iPad Pro. Will it ever need like a keyboard accessory, like a Magic Keyboard? And unfortunately, it seems like the next update will be a small one, so a lot of those changes probably aren't happening with the next one. We're getting a faster iPad, in my assumption, with a new Apple Pencil support, but no, like there are no rumors of a major redesign, M series chip supports, Magic Keyboards, or whatever. Probably just a much better Apple Pencil, probably just a much better iPad mini, because the current one is now getting a little bit old. Let me briefly check out if there's anything like... I'm always worried that like the iPad Pro or Air reviews might drop very quickly, but it seems like that's just not the case. Seems like we will basically like we'll get those tomorrow, in my opinion. If the new iPads drop on Wednesday, usually reviews drop a couple of days before, like 3 days or so. But it might be that because the time frame between the event and the actual selling of the device is so small, that Apple might have actually like given like the iPad just a 1-day review embargo, which would be interesting, would be a little bit wasteful in my opinion, but yeah, it is what it is. We'll see how it all develops. Now guys, I do want to wrap this up because I do want to have a nice stream tomorrow where my voice is fully there, where I'm a little bit more rested than I am today. I've had a little bit of a longer day than I expected, and I went to the gym. Then I went to the grocery store, and only then did I come home and eat like one sandwich before starting to stream. So tomorrow I have a much more free day, much more open, so I can actually like maybe start the stream at 6 p.m., which I've learned is like probably the best time for most of you. I can probably most likely I will continue covering some of the M4 drama. I've actually done like a little bit of Twitter stuff here, where I've dissected more from the claims of the individual that I was like analyzing yesterday. So I have basically created like a perfect steelman argument where I'm capable of making this person's arguments better than they are, and I just don't want to lose my voice entirely today. I just would prefer to have a nice stream tomorrow, make it pretty long, make it pretty detailed, make it pretty impactful, and then afterwards we'll just continue to see whatever else the week holds for us. Obviously, I would add this coverage tomorrow to my reactions to reviews, unless the reviews are a little more surprising than I think. Then I might do only like review breakdowns tomorrow, and then the day afterwards, though I do have some evening plans on Wednesday, I'll see what I can make possible for this week. But because I do want to stream a lot this week, because I am as I've mentioned in my last stream, I'm taking the weekend like off, and I might do like a couple of shorts while I'm on the go, but I'm not sure. And you guys know how notoriously unreliable I am with my promises about ever making new shorts. So yeah, look forward to this. Sometime this week until Thursday, definitely we will go more into M4 drama. Definitely sometime this week we'll look into the reviews of iPad Air and iPad Pro models, and then starting next week, I think we should be getting more and more leaks leading up to WWDC. I do plan on streaming quite a lot throughout May and early June. But yeah, we did react today to GPT-4o. I have no idea. Twitter is just weird. The Twitter app for Mac seems like half broken most of the time. So I will see. So we reacted to this today. It wasn't that big in my opinion. It probably is like getting like a lot of attention from like AI bros, but I also wouldn't really trust them that much. We covered the iPad mini. We reacted to iCaveDave's video, which very much praised the iPad mini. To everyone who is still watching, if you're watching this and you're enjoying this and you haven't done all the YouTube jazz, as I call it, please subscribe, please comment, please share. I always want to encourage you guys, please comment on the videos once a live stream has actually ended, because I do need that kind of engagement, because YouTube really hates in the last couple of weeks my videos once a live stream is done. They just really prefer to get people to watch my live streams now that more and more people are watching the live streams. So leave a comment once the video has actually been uploaded. Obviously, like, share, comment, like, share, subscribe, all that jazz. If you want to support me directly and you catch me streaming live, you can leave a super chat or a super sticker. And for long-term support of the channel, you can subscribe to my Patreon, which now also has a free tier. I want more people there so we can interact there, so you can give me tips on how to like get more people to pay for Patreon. But yeah, so basically this is the crux of my content being live streams, which is I do have to find ways to encourage you guys to interact with my videos while they're live, but also once they've already been updated. I understand the business now a little bit more. This is why we also have this little puppy here. Thank you all so much for your support. Thank you for tuning in today. Thank you to everyone who commented. I will see you guys probably definitely tomorrow, but we will see. As always, I will let you know in the YouTube on my Twitter account, and on YouTube I will probably have like a solid hour before I go live where you can see that the stream is up and coming. Otherwise, plan on around 6 p.m. German time, plus minus 1 hour. That's kind of what is most convenient for me for the next couple of weeks. So thank you so much. I'll see you in the next one. As always, please let me know what you would like to see me cover next, and leave some constructive criticism if you feel like it, and let's see if I can handle it. See you guys in the next one. This is Mark Tech, tuning out.